just finished recording part 4 for School Stories, and this is School Stories part 5, and I was just talking about in School Stories part 4 how there are many things that block education in the school system, and the two major ones being finding other sites to play games on computers and fighting. And then I just thought of another one that's not so much a distraction from the education experience, but just sometimes an annoyance. And we've all been through it. Teachers. Now, in the other School Stories videos, part 1, 2, and 3, I know I've talked about teachers. I know I've said told stories about them and said some things about them. But today is the episode that I tell you about my worst teacher yet. And this teacher was the worst teacher you would ever meet. Now, this teacher wasn't just rude, she wasn't just disrespectful, but she was to the point where she shouldn't even have been a teacher in the first place. And of course, this entire video is going to be centered about her because she asked for it. She completely asked for it. This teacher was one of them old-timey people who just sit there and just do nothing. One day, this girl was arguing with the teacher. By the way, the main teacher is called Miss Turner. We always used to call her Miss Tammy Turner because it sounded close enough to Tina Turner, but whatever. Miss Turner was arguing with this one girl because this one girl, she wanted something, but the teacher said she wasn't gonna get it until she did blah 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 blah. And these two argued for an eternity, and everybody in the class is just sick of her. Some people are telling her shut up in the distance. Some people are telling her be quiet. Some people are shouting her name saying be quiet. And by the way, you just heard a bleep noise. That was me censoring out the actual name that I said by accident. But anyway, you heard what I'm saying, Some people were shouting her name, telling her to stop. But this one dude, this great friend of mine, and he does percussion in the band, our band, and he also looks at some of the My Singing Monsters concepts that I make. This dude was literally so tired of them arguing. And I mean, who wouldn't be? There's this teacher that's supposed to be mature, grown, and supposed to be the leader of her classroom. And then, when she needs to be the leader of her classroom, because God's sakes, she's yelling at this person for so long. And teachers yell at students and they try to take control over the wrong stuff. And they try to be the boss and they try to be powerful and they try to be all-knowing and know everything about stuff that's not their business, stuff that's not related to them. But since she decided not to be grown and take control of her classroom. In this situation, the dude had to come out and say, just shut up. But instead of the teacher being like, okay, let's be quiet, because some people are trying to focus on their work. And then that could have been that. The conversation could have just stopped. The argument just paused. It all could have ended right there. But instead, the teacher had to follow up with a, yeah, you're being a distraction. Which, mind you, both of them are being the distraction. Because just because you're a teacher does not mean you're exempt from distracting the class. But even more so, since you're the leader of the class or whatever. Because if you start laughing, you're going to draw more attention than little Jimmy laughing in the corner, who always laughs all the time. Little Jimmy's always laughing, so we do not care. But you're the leader of the classroom and everything, so we're going to look over there. So you'd be even more so the distraction. So of course this boy looks over. Well, he doesn't even look over. He just keeps staring at his worksheet. And then the lady, Miss Turner, said, you're being a distraction. Yet again, even though she's still arguing with this child. The dude says yet again, no, you're the distraction. Clearly pointing out Miss Turner as a distraction. Not only did Miss Turner put the girl she was arguing with out, she also put my friend out. And this really sucked, because for the next couple of hours I just sat there with my other friends and just sitting there like I'm bored, but also sitting there thinking to myself, he didn't get taken away rightfully. You know what I'm saying? He just got taken away because the teacher got tired of him. And that's honestly your problem. If you can't take control of your classroom when you need to, that's your fault. You should have been like, hey, stop it. I'm not arguing with you. If you say one more thing, I'm calling the principal down here. And actually do it. If we could have taken control like we always want to do when it's actually their fault or not their business, then the whole problem could have been solved. But no, we decided to keep arguing with somebody. And where did that end us? Nowhere but bad. And I just kept thinking to myself the whole class, like, he didn't get put out for the right reason. And now I look back at her because that same lady got kicked out of teaching or wasn't allowed to sub us anymore. Because number one, she was able to call us stupid kids and get away with it, as well as able to punch a student in another homeroom. Mind you, these are not grown people, okay? These are not your co-workers. These are not your children. Well, what I'm saying is, these are not grown folk, okay? Grown folk will be kind of able to get up and recover from that, but these are children. These are minors. She punched a student. Hello? Was she not already a bad teacher?